Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Rambo First Blood Part 2. So, got the Blu-ray here. Once again, I got the box set. I showed you all that last video in the review for First Blood. So, here's the disc for First Blood Part 2. It's all chromed out once again, very nice. Got a nice shine to it. There's the back. I just have to flex my Blu-rays and DVDs. It's obligatory. It's in my YouTube contract, so gotta do what I gotta do out here. But anyways, let's jump into the review. So I mentioned this in my previous video. I've seen First Blood before, but I've never seen any of the sequels. So Rambo First Blood Part 2 was a first time watch for me. So yeah, I came in totally blind, didn't watch a trailer. I just came in, just totally fresh. And my overall opinion of this movie was that it was good, but I'm telling you what, this is a totally different movie than the first movie. The first movie is kind of unique, and it is an action movie, but it's not like a stereotypical action movie. It's like First Blood is based on a book of the same name, and I don't know, kind of like, not that it's trying to subvert expectations, but it kind of I can't speak English. It kind of subverts your expectations, like like, because if you've watched so many action movies or action thrillers, you're thinking like, oh, this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen. Like, a lot of stuff that happens in First Blood is just like out of left field. It's a different movie. This movie, Rambo First Blood Part 2, is way more of just a straight up generic action movie. I'm not saying generic in a bad way, but it's like the first one was like a little bit more nuanced. Not that it was like some experimental movie, but it was kind of a different movie, to be honest. Like, I don't know, the concept was unique. Like I said, like a lot of the stuff with the character, like when Rambo just totally broke down at the end, that wasn't what you were expecting. You were expecting some big showdown. So many movies have this big showdown, but that's not what we got, and it was great because of it. Like, that breakdown was great. But this movie, it was more of a straight up action movie, and it was way more over the top. No pun intended, because Sylvester Stallone was in Over the Top as well. But yeah, this movie was like over the top. Like, I don't know, they upped the action on this like crazy. Like, this was big scale. It was just, this movie, it was a spectacle. It was just, I mean, all the action was just, oh, beautiful, top notch. Like, this was just, I don't know, like all the action scenes were insane. But I'm gonna get into that later. So yeah, overall, I did think the movie was good, but it was a totally different movie than the first movie, completely different. So if you're a fan of First Blood, and much like me, you haven't seen any of the sequels, once you get into Part 2 is definitely a lot different than the original. So there you go. So jumping into a plot summary, the movie starts out and Rambo is in prison. He's in this like prison labor camp, and he's given this offer where he can do this mission, and if he does the mission and it's a success, he can have his criminal record expunged and he'll be a free man. And the mission is, it's not a combat mission. He's supposed to go back to Vietnam, and what he's supposed to do is he's supposed to see if there's prisoners of war there, and he's simply just supposed to take pictures of them. Once he gets there, though, he actually does find the prisoners of war, and you know he's in the moment. He disobeys orders, and he's probably thinking like, what the heck am I gonna do? Just take a photo? Like these guys are in agony. They've been here for so long, and they're just in these terrible conditions. Like he was like in the moment. He's like, I gotta save these guys. So he disobeys orders, and instead of just taking photos, he tries to save one of the prisoners of war, and he calls back to his military personnel, and he's like, hey, I got a prisoner of war, like give me an extraction point. So they're about to scoop him up, but then they're like, yeah, we can't scoop him up, and they just back out last minute. So he realizes that this whole mission is a sham, and he basically has no backup, and he's just at this point he's just left in Vietnam by himself. So he just takes it upon himself to complete the mission by himself and find a way to save all these prisoners of war. But there's a lot of problems that come up, because in addition to the Vietnamese military personnel, I'm having trouble speaking today. I'm telling you what. Yeah, in addition to them, there's also this presence of these Russian military personnel, and like just one thing after another, and like that's bad. Like one bad thing happens back to back to back. Like Rambo's getting tortured, he's getting captured, blah blah blah. So it's like he's trying to carry out this mission by himself, but just all kinds of bad things are happening. So that is the basic plot summary. First thing, like just like a random thing that I want to point out. I didn't know this. I didn't do any research before actually watching the movie. I just researched a little bit after. This movie was co-written by James Cameron, so that's pretty darn cool. James Cameron's the man. Like Terminator 1 and 2 classics. I've reviewed those, and Piranha 2. That's his magnum opus. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know. Avatar I liked back in the day. I don't know if I watched it now if I would really like it, but it was cool when that guy was getting it on with the alien woman. That's just, who doesn't like stuff like that? It's really inspiring, so that was cool. But yeah, this was co-written by James Cameron. I didn't know. That's pretty dope. Who would have thought? Jumping into my first point, I kind of already touched on this in the intro, but yeah, this movie is completely different than the first movie. And like I said, the first movie is based on a book of the same name, and in the book, Rambo actually dies. So initially, for the first movie, First Blood, Rambo was supposed to die at the end, and they had there's an alternate ending filmed where Rambo does die at the end, but it just tested terribly. So they changed the ending and he survived. So that's crazy to think of, that this this movie and the sequels after almost didn't even happen. Like if they would have just stuck with that original ending and the ending of the book, there would be no sequels. But yeah, like I feel like maybe this was the instance where they were. It's a lot of the times in Hollywood, it's like that where people don't necessarily plan to have a franchise. They set out to make a good movie, and it's like if they make a good movie and everything's right and it makes money, it's like we got to do a sequel. So yeah, I think it was the type of thing where when they made the first one, they didn't plan to make this a franchise at all, and then it just turned out where it just made so much money. And like Sylvester Stallone, he had his hands in these movies. He was doing a lot more than just acting in them. So he was in so many other sequels, like all like the Rocky sequels and stuff. He's probably like, at that time he was just popping, so he's like, yeah, let me do more of these, like let me get this guap. So there you go. But yeah, like I said, the 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 tone in this is it's way more of a straightforward action movie, way more over the top. And yeah, I just get the vibe where this was not supposed to be a franchise, so you kind of had to change the tone to make it a franchise because the tone of the first one, it was, there were a lot more heavy-handed themes. Not they weren't heavy-handed, but compared to this, like this is more of like a popcorn action movie. The first one had more, commentary of veterans returning home and like what reality was like for them, and even the story of this kind of like aimless drifter veteran walking around and getting abused by cops, and then this one cop just becomes obsessed, and they have this like cat and mouse dynamic, and they're like hunting each other. That's a crazy unique concept. So yeah, this one was more like a war movie, even though it wasn't like set during the Vietnam War. Like he goes back to Vietnam, and it feels like a war movie. So there you go. But yeah, I feel like this movie, Rambo First Blood Part 2, this movie is probably, like, if you were to, like, talk to someone in the general public, and if you were to, like, ask them what they think about the character Rambo or the franchise, this is probably what they think, like this over-the-top action movie. Explosions, jumping away from explosions, running away from explosions, bazookas, helicopters, blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like this is what people think of when they think of the franchise and when they think of the character, and like in pop culture, like this is what the character is known as. But it's not. I feel like it's different than what the character was intended to be, and it's way different, than, like I said, like the initial vision, like from the book. So there you go. But yeah, I think it is like when people think of the character, they think of like the depiction of the character in this movie. I'm not saying just this movie, but if the other sequels are like this one, that I feel like this is what, like this is what like the public knows. Like this is what this is the Rambo they know and love. So yeah, that's interesting. But I think I do like how they kind of turn him into more of like a straightforward action hero. It works. You can't. I mean, I don't know what if this had the same tone as the first one. I don't think it would work. And it's cool, like, because both movies kind of scratch different itches. Like, if I'm into, like, if I wanted to watch something more, just throw something on, and I don't like really have to. Well, I mean, I guess both of them you don't have to think that much. They're both, it's not like super, like they are both like just a lot of action. But yeah, this one is more of a fun movie, I would say. The other one is even though they're both serious in tone, the other one's more serious. But I'm kind of talking in a circle, rambling. So I'm gonna get on to my next point. So I talked about the action being ramped up in this, and I just want to go over some certain scenes and sequences that I thought were cool. So there were two instances that I remember where Rambo is nearly missing an explosion. The initial time is he's on this boat, like he was there were these like pirates that were helping him out, and they turned out to be traitors. I mean, who would have thought the pirates are sleazebag pieces of shit? Like, I mean, I could have figured that out, dude, but I mean, what was he gonna do? That was one of his only connections. So you gotta when in doubt, you gotta trust some sleazy pirates. So he's on this boat, and yeah, at this point, pretty much like all the pirates have been killed, but this other boat is coming through, and it's on fire, and it's about to explode, and he jumps off the boat last minute because there's this one guy who like has him hoisted up by the neck, and he stabs the guy, and he like right before the other boat hits and the boat he's on explodes, he jumps off like a second before, and you see like the trail of fire, like it seems like it's like a foot away from his foot, and that was super cool. And I was just thinking with those near miss explosions, this was 80s. You could tell it's all practical. It's not CGI. Like, that was so close to the stunt guy. I was just like, oh my goodness, that's a seriously dangerous stunt. Like, they went all out. They were like risking their effing lives. I mean, I know all the time stunt guys do risk their lives, but they were like, it looks like they were like close to death doing that just to get a good shot. So yeah, shouts out to them. And then there was like another instance where this one Russian guy is coming to get Rambo, and he's in a helicopter. He drops a effing bomb on him. Like, this is how much of like a one man army Rambo is. That they had to drop a bomb to take out one guy, and then he like jumps to evade the bomb, and it's like nearly misses him. It's like seems like a couple feet away from him, and I mean that was like a beautiful effect, like a beautiful little scene. So I like that. There's also like a lot of helicopter chases. Those are really cool. He does this like little trick to take out the gentleman in the helicopter. That's awesome. Like he basically pretends to be dead, and then he just whips out a effing rocket launcher. That was great. So yeah, there's also, okay, so that's the thing too. It feels like there's more enemies like in this movie. Like it's like a bigger threat. In the first one, there were quite a few enemies because you had the initial police, and then you had like the National Guard, and there were barricades and all kinds of stuff. It seemed like there were a lot of enemies, but in this movie, it seemed like he was going up against like an entire army, and that was pretty cool. That definitely upped the ante. And in addition to all this over-the-top action, explosions, machine guns, there was quite a bit of stealth too that I really liked. So early on, he's just walking around with a bow and arrow, and he's walking through the POW camp trying to find these prisoners, and he has to be like extremely stealthy. So this movie has a good mix where there's good stealth, there's good, over the top action as well, but the stealth stuff was really good. He was just picking off people with a bow and arrow, and all that stuff was great. So I really liked that as well. Jumping on to my next point, this movie was another way that it was different from the first one is there was a romantic element. So there's this one Vietnamese woman that Rambo links up with early on. She's basically like his contact. She works for some sort of intelligence agency in Vietnam. She's like some sort of secret agent. But anyways, they have this like budding romance that sparks, and I just thought that was like way different. And that's kind of like how I said, this movie is more like it's more of a straightforward movie. Like, there you go. Like they had to have a romantic angle, and then they're talking about like, oh, let's run away together, let's start a life together. They didn't say it exactly like that, but they're like, oh, let's go to Thailand. And I'm like, man, this is like very straightforward. Like this, like, oh, you're gonna have a romance, and then they're gonna run away together, and then like right after they say that like the woman is killed, and I was like, it was so sad, and it was just so abrupt. Like I was like, what? Like she's just dead now? Like what the heck? And it was that was like really sad, but it was almost funny too, where I'm like, man, like Rambo can't have anything nice. He can't like have any enjoyment in his life. Like he finally finds some chick, she immediately gets killed. Like this guy can't catch a break. Like he never gets like a second to just enjoy life and be happy. It's like he can't have nice things, and that's tragic. I mean, give this guy a break. Let him. I mean, he goes off to war, then he gets back. He's getting, pursued by all these cops. Then he goes to jail. He's in jail, which sucks. Then he gets out, and he has to go on this mission, and he's getting shot at again. And then he just wants to run away to Thailand with one girl, and he can't even have that. I mean, that's some BS. I mean, he deserves more than that. But what are you gonna do? I mean, he probably knew it was too good to be true anyway. So he's like, nah, this is not gonna last. You know, some crazy's gonna happen. I already know. So yeah, the romance was interesting. That was definitely different, and something that I really liked in this movie, in addition to all the combat, was there's this torture scene where the Russians are torturing Rambo because they're trying to, have him spill the beans. They're trying to interrogate him. That torture scene, it feels like it was like drawn out, but like in a good way. Like it wasn't too long, but it was like long. He's getting like electrocuted, and then they get this one POV, and they're trying to basically like burn his eye out, and he just will not give in. And then that girl that I'm talking about, the romantic interest, I forgot how you pronounce her name. I think it's Ko. I'm probably saying it wrong, but yeah, like she comes through and saves them. That whole torture scene, that was one of my favorite scenes of the movie. It was just so tense. Like like it gave me anxiety. I was just like, oh no, like I didn't want him to spill the beans. I didn't want him to get killed. It was just, I was like at the edge of my seat. So I really liked that. And the last point that I want to get into is just like more of like a WTF. I just thought this prison that he was in was such a strange prison. It was more of like a labor camp, and yeah, it was just like a bunch of guys roaming around with pickaxes, like hitting rocks, like mining basically. And I initially I thought it was weird, but then I'm like, it kind of makes sense. Like if you get a gentleman who looks like Rambo, who's in peak physical condition, like what are you gonna do? Just throw him in a cell to waste away? Like I mean, you might as well have him do some hard physical labor. Like if you're trying to mine for whatever, you're trying to mine for coal, you're trying to mine for gold, you're trying to mine for lapis lazuli, you're trying to mine for diamonds. Like you might as well have this ripped guy. This ripped guy, he's gonna be in jail anyways. He's gonna be chilling there for a minute anyways. You might as well have him, like smash up some rocks, mine for you, because he's got like 24-inch buys. Like this guy, he can mine all day. So I thought it was a weird, but it was like a weird prison, but at the same time I was like, if you got a dude looking like this, it would be a waste to not have him do some sort of work like that. So yeah, it made sense, but I don't know. It was just like reminding me of Minecraft too. Like they're out here mining. Like what are these guys doing? This is supposed to be jail. Like they're out here mining for diamonds. Like what is like a creeper gonna come out? I was like, I can't keep up, man. I can't keep up. I've never seen a jail like that, but I've never really seen a jail period. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Maybe that's like a common thing. Maybe people are just mining in jails. Maybe they're doing little projects, little arts and crafts. I don't know. I can't call it. But anyways, that was the last point that I wanted to get into. So in terms of a recommendation, I would definitely recommend Rambo First Blood Part 2. It's a lot different than the first one, but it's by no means a bad movie. It's definitely good, and it's definitely good for different reasons. So if you're in like a different mood, this is something great to watch. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. That has been my recommendation. That has been my review. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.